Today we're driving my 2021 Toyota Highlander Hybrid Limited. We're about to hit 25,000 miles on this, and I figured it's probably about time for an ownership update. Haven't filmed a lot of videos on this car. So let's start it up, we'll walk you around it, talk about some of the changes that I've made recently, and as you can see, it's snowing outside, so we'll talk about what this is like to drive in the winter in the snow. We're on a set of Bridgestone Alenza AS Ultra tires. We'll talk about those a little bit. All right, let's start this thing up and we'll get into it. So, as I said in the beginning of this video, this is our personal Toyota Highlander Hybrid. We bought this as a press car that was going out of the fleet. Had about 11,000 miles on it when we bought it. Right now we're at 24,530 miles. So put quite a bit of miles on it in the last year or so. This is primarily my wife's vehicle. She puts the majority of the miles on this. I sold my 2006 4Runner and she sold her 2021 Mazda CX-30. We combined funds, bought this, and this is kind of our daily family hauler. It's efficient, it's safe, it can fit our son's rear-facing child seat in the back, and it's just a really nice vehicle to live with on a daily basis. In the winter, it gets about 28 miles to the gallon. In the summer, it gets about 31, 32 miles to the gallon combined, so a little bit of a difference there depending on season. Done a few changes to this Highlander. I removed the factory running boards, which was a real pain, but installed just another piece here. It's a plastic trim piece from Toyota to cover that. Switched out the 20-inch wheels for these 18s. Just found a set on Facebook Marketplace. And of course, we have a set of two 35/65 R18 Bridgestone Alenza AS Ultra tires, which we'll talk a little bit about today in the snow. Really nice tire. I drove on them during the winter, the Bridgestone winter driving experience with Acura actually about a year and a half ago. And it was a really impressive tire. Really liked its snow and ice performance, and it's been really good to live with on a daily basis. Haven't had a lot of snow in Michigan yet this year, so this is kind of one of my first opportunities to test these tires in the snow on this Highlander. Other changes, I installed a Curt tow hitch in the back so that I can mount my mountain bike back here. Also got this Highlander ceramic coated and detailed, so when it's clean, it looks awesome. A lot of storage space in this thing, super practical. Haven't really used the third row or needed it yet, but we use this for mostly just hauling stuff around. My wife puts her yoga mat back there, you know, regular things. It's just a big Prius. Good ground clearance, all-wheel drive, fuel efficient, very safe, kind of checked all the boxes for us. And we get a pretty good deal on it too, it being a press car and going through a bunch of abuse in that world. The thing I love about this Highlander is just the amount of space that is inside the cabin. We can fit our rear-facing child seat back here. We have a baby Duna stroller child seat combo, and that fits in the middle or on the passenger side perfectly with both of our seats in our comfortable driving and sitting positions. It says rear climate control. It rides well, it's comfortable, it's really nice to live with. Haven't had any reliability or weird issues with it. In limited trim, it's got a few extra niceties. Takes regular fuel, so it's cheap to run. It has a heated steering wheel, heated and ventilated seats. Some features that we really like. This has 2 memory settings, so my wife and I can both just press a button, get into our saved seating position, and it's no issue. Wired CarPlay. This has the slightly larger infotainment screen, which I wasn't crazy about at first because you do lose some climate control functions like a quick button for recirculating air and some other things, but there's this menu here on the side which you can actually switch from side to side, which is kind of nifty, but it'll show your climate, heated seat functions, music, mileage history. For not really being a fan of this infotainment at first, we've grown to like it. My wife likes to keep her music tab open and CarPlay and kind of be able to watch both of those at the same time. Lots of different displays here in the center menu. You can see fuel economy. We've been averaging about 29 miles to the gallon in this the last couple tanks. The one thing I don't like about this hybrid is the reverse camera just sucks. It's always way too dark. You can barely see what's behind you. Luckily, visibility in this is okay, but I do wish Toyota would just kind of fix this reverse camera situation. Maybe they have with the new Highlander. We're going to go drive the new Grand Highlander here in about a month. So we'll report back on that, see if it's better or improved. All right, let's take this for a drive and see how it does in the snow. So we are in trail mode. That should send a lot more power to the rear wheels. You'll be able to see that on this graphic here. We're going to leave traction control on in this Highlander, even though you can turn everything off and whip some donuts in this thing. That's probably not what most drivers are going to be doing. So the stability control actually does a pretty nice job of rotating you around corners in this Highlander. And it's a nice little safety net. Got some mud and puddles here. Watch out, little birdie. About 8 inches of ground clearance in this. There's braking performance. This is a pretty slushy type of snow today. It's honestly quite slippery out here. About 33 degrees Fahrenheit. Going into EV mode there. Honestly, this thing does pretty well in the snow. Haven't had too many complaints with it this year. It's not like it's driving on a dedicated winter tire, but as an all-season with an 80,000 mile limited tread warranty, it does okay. If you stay out of ABS, stopping distances are pretty good. We're just going to go for it here. We can take it out of trail mode, put it back into eco, which is what I primarily drive this thing in. Interior on this Highlander is still a little bit rattly. In my first video on this car, I left the car seat in the back, and that was mostly what was rattling around in that video if you wear headphones and listen to binaural audio. In this, there's just a few rattles from the seats. That's pretty typical with any CUV crossover with 2 or 3 rows. The powertrain in this is super smooth. Engine gets a little bit loud and drony when you're merging onto the highway, but otherwise, it's almost silent. It's kind of fun to play with the EV operation of this Highlander. Off throttle, EV mode will kick on, and you can get up to about 25, 30 miles per hour on full electric power around town, which is really nice. And sometimes you can coast at speeds up to about 40, 50 miles per hour if you're on level surface or going down a hill in EV mode. Ride quality is great. Again, just a little bit of noise over bumps. These 18-inch wheels on the Bridgestone lenses definitely help smooth things out quite a bit. The car feels a lot more nimble, a little bit lighter on its feet than it did on the 20-inch wheels. And fuel economy is definitely improved by about a mile per gallon or so on these 18s compared to the 20s. So right here, if you just stay below this first eco notch, you can pretty much drive in EV mode as long as the battery has enough charge in it. And you can accelerate slightly in that mode, which is kind of nice. One of the highlights of this Highlander for us is the JBL sound system. I think it's one of Toyota's best JBL units. Sounds fantastic. Let's do a quick sound system test here while we're just kind of putzing around. It's super clear, really powerful, strong bass. I mean, it's a really nice sound system. It almost kind of encroaches on Mark Levinson in some respects. So top-notch work on Toyota's part there for doing a good job with JBL in this Highlander. I found JBL systems in other Toyota products to be a bit disappointing, and this is one of the ones that actually delivers on being a premium sound system at least. All right, getting onto the highway here. Taking a couple road trips in this Highlander since our last video. Adaptive cruise control works pretty well. It's slightly on the conservative side as far as following distance and, you know, negotiating in traffic, but when you just kind of set it and forget it, it does a pretty good job. Lane keep assist, lane centering does work well in a pinch if you need to take your eyes off the road for half a second, but mostly I just kind of drive this with cruise control on, and that does the job. Excellent fuel economy on the highway. We've gotten as high as about 36 miles to the gallon on a long distance road trip. So, you know, pretty good fuel economy in my mind. Here's full throttle on the highway. Engine gets a little bit loud, but it's not too bad. Have not done a night drive in this, but headlight performance at night is fantastic. I did just have to re-aim the headlights. They were pointed way too high for some reason. So after that, the beam is a little bit more focused on the road, which is really nice. This heated steering wheel for winter driving is just about the perfect temperature. It comes on really fast. Heated seats are nice at level 1. I'm just kind of cozy and warm. The climate control does take a while to warm up in this Highlander, especially if it's in eco, heat and cool mode. But until it does, the heated steering wheel, heated seats keep you nice and toasty in this. It's actually a pretty nice winter vehicle for that reason. Where these Bridgestone Alenza AS Ultra tires really shine is in the wet. They have fantastic traction, really big downpours, big puddles, no issues. The fact that they're a little bit narrower, only 235s, helps with that a little bit. I'd say ice driving performance is about average for a tire in this class for an all season, but we've been pretty happy with these in the snow. Haven't really needed to get a dedicated winter with the amount of snow we've had here in southeast Michigan. And the few days that my wife does drive in the snow, these provide plenty of traction, no issues. It's not really as much snow as I thought there would be out here on the roads. Everything's pretty clear. Might have to venture out onto some back roads. One complaint that I have had with this Highlander is that the brakes can be a little bit inconsistent at times. Pedal feel itself is okay for a hybrid, but the stopping power can be a little bit funky sometimes, especially at lower speeds. When you come to a stop either at a parking space or in the garage, it's just not very consistent. Losing quite a bit of traction there. Not a lot of grip around this corner. We'll take things gingerly. There we go. Try a quick braking test here. Okay guys, well there's just a quick winter drive in our 2021 Highlander Hybrid Limited. Figured I'd give you guys an ownership update, some additional thoughts. Overall, super happy with this car. We were looking at a bunch of other options. This seemed to be kind of the best in terms of space, value, efficiency, safety. It's really done a great job just kind of being the family car. Do I miss my GX and my 4Runner? Yeah, just a little bit, but I don't miss the fuel economy. And another thing that's been really nice about this Highlander is that the fuel range in this is fantastic. I used to get about 300 miles out of a tank max in my GX, and my 4Runner was even less. And that was a 21 or 23 gallon tank. It was a lot of fuel. And this, I think it has about a 16 gallon tank or 18 gallon tank. And we can go 350, 400 miles in this easily, no problem, maybe even more on a road trip. And just that having that extra range on a weekly basis when we're putting a lot of miles on this car helps exponentially. So another really nice factor with this Highlander. All right, guys, that'll be it for this one. Thanks for watching. As always, let me know if you have any questions in the comments. We'll see you in the next video. Take care.